we're going to talk about why it is so goddamn hard for people to lose weight, okay? There's this guy, his name is Dr. Jason Fung, okay? This little Asian troll guy, all right? Now, I didn't buy into his bullshit when I seen him because look at his face. Literally, this guy is going to tell you to do intermittent fasting. And it's like, just from like the look of his face, like obviously he's not obese, but like, you know, he doesn't have the look of like an extremely lean person that you want to take their advice, right? But he knows what he's talking about, okay? Because this has happened to me for a really long time. Basically what he's saying is calories in versus calories out, which is what the whole internet talks about, right? Just being a calorie deficit and you'll instantly lose weight. But then there's all these stories of these people that are like, I don't know what's going on. I'm eating 1,200 calories. I'm not losing weight. Asian plump guy. Anyways, back to the story, okay? He's saying that calories in versus calories out is not all that matters. Hormones matter. Here's the concept that this guy's saying. He's saying that insulin is the master hormone of fat gain. What happens is obesity is driven by chronically high levels of insulin. And trust me, this happened to me. And I wasn't even obese. I was like, I had a six-pack, okay? And then I started this intermittent fasting because it gave me a bunch of energy. But then I didn't do it right. After a while, like I just started to get wore out. And then I started to like shrink my meals too close together. Like big meals were too close together. Combined with like too much fat. But I was still in a calorie deficit. But anyways, I ended up gaining body fat because of the hormonal model. This is how it works. Okay, saying that if you eat a high carb diet, this is going to keep your insulins high, or if you're eating too frequently, like this is what happened to me, then it's going to keep your insulin levels high. Which, when your insulin's high, what he's saying is it's like a lock on a refrigerator door. And so on the refrigerator door, the fat is inside of the fridge, right? Your body should be able to access, right? You would think that when you want to lose fat, when you go into your calorie deficit, your body should just instantly just go after its fat stores, right? Especially if you're 20 pounds overweight, you have 20 pounds of fat. But what happens is, this guy's saying, if the insulin's high, when your calories go down, then you're going to get, your body is just going to slow your metabolism down. Okay, you're going to catabolize your muscle and you're just going to get tired. And then you're not going to be losing weight. And I guarantee you that this is right because it has happened to me. So what is the solution, okay? The solution is to get your insulin down. How do you fix chronically high insulin? Tip number 1. No added sugars, all right? So anything with sugar, all right? Desserts, drinks, energy drinks. Don't be going to Starbucks getting Frappuccinos, right? That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, refined carbs, white bread, pasta, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you watch my later videos, okay, I'm going to talk about this. I guarantee you that if you know how to manipulate your insulin, which is why bodybuilders do carb cycling and also exercise, you can eat these carbs like white bread and pasta and be completely fine. But there's the demon people that demonize the carbs like that, like white, like pasta and bread. Now, portion sizes matter when it comes to these kinds of carbs, right? If you have 1,000 calories of pasta at once, yes, you're probably going to spike your insulin. But if you just have a regular size portion, like whatever the box says, then you'll be okay. But then at the end of the day, you can go after some of these guys like this kid, Mikey Musumeci, this UFC fighter who literally, he said he was on these low carb diets for a while, not losing any weight, or making it extremely hard, getting eating disorders. And then he just started eating once a day, pizza and pasta, and he was getting shredded. And so he eats like a box of pasta every night. But I mean, this kid is extremely active, training hard as fuck all day long. So it's different. So activity levels are going to matter a lot. So, but anyways, he talks about eating healthy fats, whole foods, okay, avocados, nuts, things like that, right? Perfectly fine. Stop snacking, okay? He says, according to Fung, that you should just eat 2 to 3 meals per day. Now, perfectly fine. But here's the problem with eating 2 meals per day, or eating less frequently, is the bigger portions can also kind of throw off your body. So like, there's nothing wrong with eating 4 meals, right? Or 5, okay? Like in my last video, I talked about this guy, Helmut Strebel, who literally eats 5 to 7 meals per day. But he's not eating fake shit. He's not eating sugar. So he's not eating fruit. He's not eating candy. Dog shit. All right? He's just eating meat, bread, and rice. So, and eggs. Thinks that intermittent fasting is going to help with this lowering insulin. And so I think that this is true. Like the intermittent fasting. But what happens is, all right, let's look at this on a scale, right? If you fast, right, you're going to lower insulin. But the problem is like, especially if you're just doing intermittent fasting, where let's say you fast for 16 hours, that's not nearly long enough to like completely lower your insulin. So what happens is you lower your insulin through your 16-hour fast, right? Then once you eat, like if you eat a big meal and you might, and then you can spike your insulin and you'll be right back to where you started. Or maybe you eat a big meal and then you have another meal after that, and then those two combined raise your insulin, especially if you're sedentary, then it negates the whole point of trying to lower your insulin through the fast, right? You're better off just sticking to like smaller meals. Now, time-restricted eating is in just like 12 or 14 hours is the prime spot that's the most sustainable. It's nice to get a break from food, right? But the problem is as soon as you go to refeed, it's like it wears out your willpower, especially if you're trying to skip breakfast and do it that way versus skip dinner. But more on that in the next video, because this shit, it changed my life. So this guy's saying that obesity is about hormones, and honestly, I 100% agree. Okay, it's especially when if you don't know what you're doing, like if you're obese and then, because like people say, listen to your body. But the thing is you can't always listen to your body, because sometimes it's just habitual hunger. Sometimes it's thirst. Sometimes you're just too sedentary. And some of it is like, hunger is almost like blades of grass in your yard, right? You can mow your grass and kind of like manage your hunger to where like then you become way less hungry during the day than you think. So like for instance, if you're eating every 2 hours and you're relatively sedentary, you're probably going to be more hungry during the day. Or if you're eating like a higher carbohydrate diet, you're going to be more hungry. All right, so in the end, basically the solution to this entire thing is eat less frequently. Every 3 hours. Same thing as my cravings video, really. Don't eat sugar and don't fucking eat fake shit, all right? Eat normal-sized meals. Don't snack in between your meals, and do time-restricted eating. And then you should be able to lower your insulin relatively easily. Now, if it's really bad, and you might have to do something crazy. But it should help you. All right? Because trust me, all these problems, I had all these problems, and I just want to help everyone. So, see you guys in the next video.